Hello, and welcome to Sit and Knit for a Bit. I'm your host, Melissa. You can find me on Ravelry at Aurora Evermore. And I sometimes post on the Facebook group Sit and Knit for a Bit that I had started years ago, but I actually have deleted just my app on Facebook. I'll talk about that at the end. I just now noticed that there is every once in a while really bright light. I have like a crystal wind chime out hanging out my front tree, and it's catching the light through the window and shining in here. So that's what that is if you see it. All right, so I think it has been 3 weeks since I last podcast, and I guess I'll just go ahead and start with the elephant in the room, my sweater. Sweatshirt, I guess. I don't know, because it's short sleeved. This was the sweater I was working on starting in December, after I decided not to do my Christmas socks. And I finished last weekend, I believe. Yes, it was last weekend. And I've worn it once to work and have absolutely no complaints. So I'll show it to you and then I'll talk about it. So here it is. It fits really nice. By the way, I'm losing weight, so yay, this is starting to go away. There is some strange little diagonal pooling, which is weird because I did do the switch every 2 rows I switched yarns, which I had done up here as well, but for some reason it's still pooled. But it is what it is. So here's the back. It's just a plain raglan sweater. Let me get the pattern for you. And I think that the pattern is actually simple, a very simple raglan sweater or something like that. Like I said, I've talked about it before. It's by Maker Maker. And I have the front page right here. Real easy raglan. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. And I'm planning on using this, and maybe in the future I will add my own things because I really liked how it shaped. I do have a little bit of problem where I don't like a lot of stuff up against my neck. There is a spot in here that you work on the back a little bit more, and I did do that, but I know I cut it early because I got sick and tired of doing the German short rows. I don't think I like the German short rows very well. And so it's kind of like my own fault. I mean, it's not bad, but it is what it is. But it fits really nicely on me, and it's super comfortable. The yarn, I might not have a, I might have gotten rid of one. Might have gotten rid of it, because I don't think I have it in here. It's on my Ravelry. It was Emporia yarn. The yarn, or the colorway is Flight, and it is a DK weight. There's of course always dog hair, and I bought 4 skeins of it. And after knitting that sweater and 2 little swatches, I was gonna say test knits. This is all I have left. So super happy. I was actually kind of basing how much yarn I had left for how much sleeve to do, and really, to tell you the truth, I think I just I started the ribbing for the sleeve cuff right when I picked up. Like, I don't think I did a row of stockinette. So when you're doing the raglan increases, you increase until here. And you can kind of see how that is in my armpit, which is also a nice thing. My armpit's not too tight. That was another thing I don't like sometimes. But I saw that it was already so long that to go a little bit longer would have looked a little funky. So, but I'm very happy. I'm totally cool with having short sleeves. I plan on doing a lot more short sleeves or 3/4 length. I probably won't ever do full length sleeves. I tend not to like them. I'm hot-natured. I live in the South, so I don't get hot easily. Even though in the winter it is nice to wear warmer clothes. Like right now, I actually have a space heater on. That's probably the noise you can hear, and the heater just turned off. It is a little cold in this room. Not horrible, but enough to, wear something. But when I have stuff on my sleeves, especially when I'm knitting, I find I get it caught, my knitting needles get caught on the sleeve, so I always end up rolling them up anyway. But anyway, so why bother waste the yarn and the time to knit full-length sleeves, for me at least. Obviously, everybody else is different. I think my tea's still a little too hot. Just cold enough. I'm drinking my favorite loose leaf tea. It's African Solstice, in my favorite cup. I haven't had a cup of tea in a while, so I figure I treat myself with my favorite tea and my favorite cup. Okay, so since I've been so happy with this sweater, I was like, okay, well, what sweater I'm going to make next? Let's go ahead and remake it. I am using completely different yarn, a different brand, different color, everything. I am planning on doing more of a 3/4 length sleeve since I have a little bit more yarn to play with. The yarn is also a little bit thinner than this one, so it's probably going to be a little bit looser of a fabric. And so, in my opinion, like, now I'm going to want the longer sleeves because I'm going to want the warmth from that, since the fabric itself is not going to be very thick. This is actually kind of a thick fabric, and so I know it's kind of weird. So anyway, I'll show you it and then I'll talk about the yarn. Same pattern. I'm literally doing the same exact thing. I wound up the balls last Sunday night after I finished that sweater. And I might have like briefly started the neckline ribbing, but didn't get very far. I was trying to get a whole bunch done and get to a comfortable spot so I could work on it in class on Monday. Oh, I forgot to bring that in. Oh, well, it's okay. But I just couldn't get enough done. This one, it took me a little bit longer than I wanted to finish. It was fine. I took another project. I took my cozy memory blanket, which I meant to show you, but I forgot to bring it in because I got a square done and started another one. And I figured I wanted to get some work done on that one anyway. I'm sorry, there's dog hair on my lip gloss. I wanted to get some work done on the cozy memory blanket anyway, and I figured that was going to be a nice, easy project to take to school since school started again. It is my last semester, my last class, and I'm just excited to get it done and over with. So anyway, I digress again. So it's nice, like, I don't know, just a basic dark purple. Maybe a little bit darker than what it's showing. Nothing too crazy. It's not hand dyed, or at least there's no like variegation in the coloring, so I'm only going to do one color. Shouldn't be any pooling with this, so we'll see. But I've done the ribbing. And when I mentioned last time, I always do a smaller neckline. I actually do like the small size of the neckline. And then right when I'm done with the ribbing, I increase that first row. I increase like crazy to get it to the number it should be for my size. And I purposely do that. One, I want a smaller neckline so it doesn't show my bra strap. And why I increase right after it is because the way I increase, which is like the knit through the front and then the back, it leaves a little like almost pearl looking bump. And when it's right up against the ribbing, you can't really tell. And as opposed to like, actually you do the same thing for the raglan. Raglan, you can see the bumps, which is fine because it's stylized for that. That's fine. But I just didn't want a bunch of bumps like this all over the place. And it's worked just fine. And once again, I also only want that section to be smaller. And so that's what I've done, as a modification. No other modifications going on. I did do a little bit more towards the back, and you can see that this is the back. See, there's just a little bit more fabric than this side, which is the front. So hopefully it won't cut me, hopefully sit like this, or maybe more like that. And this will be a little bit taller and not cut me in the throat so much. But so I'm just working on the raglan increases. This pattern does call for a huge amount of raglan increases. I'm not sure if that's a normal thing or what, but like I said, the sleeves, like you end up with a couple inches of sleeve by the time you're done with the raglan increases. But it's fine. Like I said, I like the fitting. I do have, I guess, medium sized breast bust. And so I do need that little bit of extra. I mean, it's loose, but I like loose sweaters, mostly to hide my pudge. You can also see my hair is growing out. It's become a very annoying stage. Oh, we don't talk about the hair. We just don't talk about the hair. So, let me show you the yarn, what kind of yarn I'm using. Should have a ball band in here. My notions. I should. Okay, no, I don't. I have it here. Thank goodness. Okay, this is the Barocco Vintage DK. But it's like a small DK. And it is color 2198. Dye lot 284596. It is 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. Now I know it's probably not going to be, well, it feels just fine. This is nice and squishy. This is just, yeah, it's fine. I was thinking maybe a little bit more itchy, and it probably is because of all the, with the acrylic. Now some acrylics are super, super soft. But I'll show you the back. Hopefully not too much of a glare. So, yeah, so far happy. I have 6 balls of that kind. So, like I said, I think I'm going to do 3 quarter length sleeves. Or 3. What is it called? I don't know, I think it's just called quarter length sleeves. I am literally using the same bag as I did. This is a perfect size bag for a sweater, and I really like it. So, I already had all the supplies other than the yarn, so it made it really easy. Finally got sunny today. We've been having some days of rain, and so that's why I was like, oh, I have to podcast while there's sun. Actually, well, I think it's fine. Forgot to turn the overhead light on, but I think you can see just fine. The only other thing I've been working on is I got really behind on an order I have that I volunteered to do, I guess. I came up with the idea. And part of me is like, why'd you do this? But no, I want to, and it's fine. It is the airplane washcloths that I will be, I will sell to the lady I volunteering work for at the air show shop, and she's going to turn around and hopefully we'll sell these. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned them before. I have them in my airplane bag I got off Etsy. Sorry, don't know the name, and they don't have a tag. The back of it got dirty. My dogs with dirty paws walked on my end table next to my couch, and I didn't realize how dirty it was, so I'll have to go through the washing machine. Hopefully it'll come out. If not, it's a pretty good material. It's actually pretty thick. If I need to, I guess I can scrub it myself. So anyway, so I have 3 different patterns, and so I'm doing 10 each, that makes it 30. And this one was a free one on Ravelry, and I just put it, in a graph because I think it was just written out, and I prefer things like this. I prefer graphs. And then the other 2, I think I just looked at pictures and kind of drew it myself. And then this one, which I thought was going to come out really cool. This was going to be my favorite, but the way, so if you look at these, you only do the pattern on one side, every other row, which ends up being the back side. And so they're kind of like spaced out. Where this one, you work the pattern every row. And because the airplane is tilted like this, it kind of makes the yarn, the project, kind of wonky. It kind of twists it, I guess. I do block them when I'm done, and hopefully they don't look too bad. I, of course, am critiquing it like crazy because, especially since it's for somebody else, you know, people are going to buy it. I want them to look beautiful. I want people to go, oh my gosh, I want those. Not for like profit wise. I just want people to be happy. And so that's another thing I've talked about before, that I don't really like knitting for other people because I stress about whether they're going to like it or not. So I love these little tins. I got this little Burt's Bees tin. Absolutely love it. It's yellow. And I always keep these around for other stuff. This project's gonna outgrow them, but these are the finished ones. And so I will show you, I guess, the few I have made. Hopefully they show up. This is that first one. It's not too bad, but see, I see that little hole right there, that little gap, and I freak out. And I'm like, it just looks awful, but I know it's a washcloth, you know. Once they start using it, it'll be fine. I also think, does the airplane really show up? I feel like it's hard to see the airplane because I didn't do a different color, and I'm not going to. But I also think it's the yellow yarn that I used. This is like the jet is what I'm calling it. I'm trying to find, hopefully you guys can kind of see what, maybe like that. I don't know. The lighting is not the best for this either. And then this is the diagonal airplane. And it's just, see how it's kind of like wonky? I think it looks better, a little bit better in real life than it is on camera. But they turned out okay. I'm hoping somebody will be like, oh yeah, okay. Whether people buy them or not, I don't care. I just don't want people to be like, ew. Can't they be better? That's another one of those. I'm literally doing random colors. This yellow is actually the color of the shop, I guess. But I'm just going to do a bunch of random colors. Here's a blue. I think the blue, oh God. The blue shows up a little bit better. I don't know. I think they're cool. I've got another one that's being blocked. It's probably dry, which is good because I'm almost finished with this one today. This is another one of just the side airplanes. By doing it white, you can kind of see the texture. So they're looking okay, and it's kind of cool because you can flip it to the back, and you can, you know, even though this is the back, you can still see the airplane. Because I know people like my mom, love you mom, they don't know the difference between the front and the back. But I think we're doing just fine. This is the first of 3. I'm literally doing them one at a time. I've got 2 of each. This is the third one. I do want to get them done. I know it's the end of January, and the air show is not until the end of July. But I feel like I should ship them to her ahead of time. That way she can put them in the inventory and put price tags on them and get them set up. Because she sets up the shop like a week or so before the air show, and I won't be there. I'll be at work down here. And that way she has them to start selling them. And so I think I did the calculation I meant to start like right before Christmas or so. I meant to get going on them, and that way I could do one a week for 30 weeks and still have like a month or so to ship them. But I ended up spending all my time working on that oh my god, the advent calendar. And then after that, I did a little bit on them, but the washcloth material and stuff like that, it's rough on the hands. It takes more effort to knit. It's not super smooth. and it actually tends to hurt my hands with all my medical issues. And so I learned, so for a while there, my hands were really hurting. I could barely knit something simple. So I could only knit like on something like this, which was super soft and easy and just straight knitting. I could only work on this for maybe an hour or two every day if I was lucky. And so anyway, my hands are feeling a little bit better, and I've learned that if I do just a little, like 45 minutes to an hour at a time on these, and then switch to something else, whether it's playing a game on my phone or knitting on the other sweater or whatever, and then spend a few hours away from it and come back, then I do just fine. My hands, I don't tire out my hands, because that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to do so much that I'm powering through and then I'm injuring my hands and then I can't knit for days. I'm like, that's no. So I'm taking many breaks in between, and it's fine. So anyway, so when I got back into, getting around to knitting them after Christmas-ish time and feeling better, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta pretty much do 2 a week to catch up now. I have some leeway. Also depends on when I ship them to her. The earlier the better. I kind of just want it done so that I can move on. And part of me is like, well, maybe I could also knit some extras and put them in my suitcase, and that way if we do sell out, I'll be like, oh, look, I found some more. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how I do. Like I said, I have no problem, with the thought of knitting them and getting them done and everything like that. Like, they're fun. They're quick. They're easy. It's the hands. The hands just can't handle so much of those. So we'll see. But so anyway, this week I've been doing great on them. Last week, I think it was last week, I had the last couple weeks I had lost my knitting mojo, and I just got it back this week and really wanted to go. Like, I'm sitting at home going, I can't wait to get home and knit, which is, oh, I love that feeling. I mean, I'd rather, not be at work thinking about knitting. I'd rather just be at home knitting. But it's better than the alternative. So anyway, so I started one. Is this my second one this week? I think it's my second one this week. Which I started last night. This is my third one this week. I started one on Sunday morning, only did a little bit, but then I worked on it I don't remember how many I did this week. I did this one. Yes. This is when I started. So my mom, at breakfast, she was like, oh, I like that color. So I started this one Sunday morning. And then I think I finished it on Tuesday or Wednesday night. And then I started another white one. I started a white one of the diagonal airplane. And did that in a day and a half. And then I started this one this morning. This one I'm knitting more than I'm supposed to. Once again, I'm only supposed to knit for 45 minutes to an hour, and I've been kind of blasting through because I really want to get this one done, and then maybe one more done this weekend, and really give myself a nice buffer on my time frame. But we'll see. I'm like I said, I'm letting the hands decide what they want to do. And in fact, another reason why I'm podcasting right now is to let my hands have a little bit of break, because I've been working on that like crazy. I probably talk too fast. But yep, so that's it, I think, for knitting. Just been working on this sweater, the newest sweater, the purple one, and these washcloths and a little bit of my cozy memory blanket for school. So not much else has been happening in the knitting world for me. I bought one of those. I guess I should talk to you about when I get it. It's one of those, I don't know, it looks like an iPad case, and you open it up and it's got a felted section, and you take a piece of paper of your pattern, and but it's magnetized, and you have these magnets, and you can move the magnet to let you know what row you are on. I figured it's going to help with this project really well, to help me know what row I'm on with this graph. That's the idea, at least. So I ordered it off Amazon. I saw one on Etsy. I went a little I was giving my hands a break, so I went a little window shopping on Etsy for knitting stuff. I shouldn't be spending any money, but I just kind of wanted to, see what was out there and see if there's anything that was just so amazing I couldn't leave up. Came across one of those that I'm talking about, and it was like $40, and I was like, oh my god, I want one, but I can't. Well, I found one on Amazon for like $17. I'm like, oh, less than half, I can do that. So I can't wait for that to come in. But yeah, that's been about it. So, short little knitting podcast. I guess I'll kind of talk about my life, which hasn't been much. So if you don't want to hear about that, I will say goodbye. Goodbye to the people that only want to, hear about knitting. And hello to the people that want to just watch me ramble. So, like I said, school has started. It's my last class. I'll be graduating if I pass this class. Can't wait. It is a hard class, but I just, one assignment at a time, one lesson at a time, one quiz at a time, one homework, just take one thing at a time and you'll be fine. So, unfortunately, I accidentally selected the class. Well, I needed to take that class anyway, and I really didn't want to take time off from work, and it just happened to be all the way at the Frisco location, which is like an extra 30-minute drive than the normal Denton location, and horrible traffic. And I've gone to one class, so I have 14 left to go. Yes, I'm going to be counting down. I actually feel guilty right now for not doing my homework. But I have tonight and tomorrow to do it. I have nothing else going on this weekend, so I have plenty of time to do the homework. And the homework won't take long, so. Anyway, so that's that. The other thing, like I mentioned, I am trying to lose weight. I hope I look a little different. I have lost, just over 8 pounds. I got pretty heavy. Literally 2.5 weeks ago, I weighed in at a weight. I kept weighing in at a weight I thought I'd never be at. And I know this is not a weight loss podcast, so I won't talk too much about it, but anyway. So I decided to do something. I'm like, I have to. For a while there, part of me was like, okay, fine, I'll just be a middle-aged fat person. But I was starting to get unhappy, and I kept getting bigger and bigger, and I was afraid that I would just become huge. And anyway, so I'm doing the calorie counting diet, and I have an app on my phone, and pretty much the nice thing about it, because I never thought, calorie counting, that's such a tedious thing, and it can be, but it lets you know, it's helping me with my portion control. I still eat some things I eat lots of things I'm not supposed to, so many, but I'm only eating a small portion of them, as opposed to binge eating, 300 potato chips, I'm allowed 10, or whatever. The other thing I like about it is I have an allotment of how many calories I'm allowed to eat in a day, and if I do exercise, I can knock that down, or I guess bring it up. But so it's nice, I'll have these planned meals and stuff, and if I'm way under my allotment and I'm hungry, I'm like, ooh, I can treat myself to a sugar-free pudding, or I can kind of binge eat goldfish or something. And so I've been doing that, and it's okay. I'm trying to find meals that I like to do the cook once and then have leftovers for 5 to 7 days. I don't mind cooking, but I don't want to do it every day for one person. It's just, so I'm finding meals that are low calorie, but filling, and that I can, do a big batch and, continue on. And the one I'm working on right now is a half-healthy meatloaf, and it's not quite as healthy as I thought. I think I'm eating too much, because my weight loss has kind of plateaued a little. So, but I don't want to waste it, so I will finish eating it. I'm trying to cut a smaller piece, and eat more vegetables instead. Next week I'll be doing my chicken. I call it my Mexican stew. It literally is just chunks of chicken, crock pot. I have a big crock pot. Chunks of chicken, black beans. I do like the corn in there. I like little sweet pops. I know corn's not good for you, but and then I use and then salsa. I put picante sauce in there as my seasoning. And I used to put just rice and some water in towards the end, and just cook it all day long. But to stay away from the rice, because especially since I have the corn that's already a starch, I'm doing cauliflower rice, which is not as amazing, but I'll just dump it in towards the end. Hopefully all that spicy salsa will help with the flavor. I don't mind cauliflower rice. It's just kind of... My first meals I did was a stir fry over cauliflower rice, and it was okay. Like I said, the cauliflower rice was actually the worst part, so I tend to I ate all the toppings with a little bit of, as I'm scooping it, with a little bit of cauliflower rice, and I always ended up with a pile of cauliflower rice that I didn't eat. I was like, it's fine, I don't really want it. But I made it a healthy stir fry. I had carrots. I know those are, have lots of sugar in them, but it was mostly because I already had carrots in the house, might as well use them. Carrots, onion, some garlic. I had zucchini, and then yellow squash, which is like a yellow version of zucchini, mushrooms, and chicken, and it was good. Especially the mushrooms and the onions. Like, oh my god, I could just sit there and eat mushrooms and onions cooked. Well, I love mushrooms anyway, but only cooked onions. And I will definitely be doing that again. That was a very, very yummy. Oh, so yummy. I haven't had lunch yet, so my mouth is watering just thinking about this. And another one I try to do a chicken chunk spaghetti with a sugar-free Prego spaghetti sauce. That was fine. I think I added just a little bit more garlic and some herbs just to help, which I usually tend to do anyway. And my idea was to put it over the zucchini noodles. I bought these frozen zucchini noodles that you just steam in the bag. I didn't like them. They were slimy but crunchy. They were super long. It was just gross. It did not go well with spaghetti, I guess. I don't know. I didn't like it. I wonder if you could do that over eggplant, because I know I loved eggplant parmesan. I wonder if I could take an eggplant and slice up big chunks of it, bake it or something, and then put the sauce. Oh, that would be pretty good. I might have to look into that. But anyway, my next idea is to do a spinach pasta. Now I know, I think spinach pasta actually has some pasta in it, but there's at least a little bit of spinach and less pasta, I'm hoping. Probably not a 50-50, but hopefully a little bit better. And just portion control and hopefully do that. But anyway, not that you want to hear about my food, but hey, if you want to know anything to cook, or if you have any ideas, please let me know. I think that's been about it. I've been trying to, continue to read. I've slowed down a little bit. Exercising because of diet. Trying to get back into walking the dogs. Actually, probably after lunch. I had a late breakfast. I'm having a late lunch. I'll be taking the dogs for a walk, especially since it's sunny. Oh my gosh, I need to get outside. I would love to go for a hike today, but it rained for days, and I know the hiking trails are closed. Thank you, Texas. I freaking hate you. But anyway, and I don't feel like driving all the way up to Oklahoma to be able to hike. That's an hour and a half drive, and I want to hike, but that's a hike to go hiking. Especially now, I don't have enough time. By the time I get there, it'll be dark. But anyway, and then I'm trying to get back into yoga. I did some yoga last night, or 2 nights ago. Last night I was really lazy. I didn't do anything. I love Fridays after work, since I get off at noon, to be my lazy days. If I want to sleep all day, if I want to veg, I don't care. That's my lazy day. But anyway, so I'm going to try to do a little bit of yoga after each walk, not hike. Well, I should do after hiking too. But anyway, get back into that. I like yoga. I hate the beginning of yoga, like when you first start, because you're so out of it. Like it's feels almost pointless because you can't, manipulate your body the way yoga people do. But you gotta start somewhere, and I remember that. I'm like, I have done yoga in the past, and yes, when I first started, I sucked. Like, downward facing dog was awful, and lunges were awful, and this pose is awful, and whatever. And I can only, half do it, and I'm not straight, or whatever, and, chair pose. I hate chair pose. But anyway, I'm like, but when you every time you start, it gets better each time you do it. And so I'm just telling myself, and hey, I'm doing it at home from what I learned from back when I used to do yoga. And I have to modify it anyway for my health conditions. And so that's fine. And that's the nice thing about yoga. You can modify it any way you want to. But like I said, I'm hoping to get better. And I don't have to do it every day. In fact, I remember, and I started stressing about that. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this every day. Like yesterday when I skipped, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get better if I skip a day. I'm like, well, no. Back when you first started doing yoga years ago, you only did it once a week. Granted, you did an hour worth, but you only did it once a week. So if you skip a day here and there, it's okay. I like to get into the rhythm of doing it every day. Probably not Mondays because of class, but anyway. So I want to do it most days of the week, but I don't have to do it every day. I'm not going to, completely fall backwards by missing one day, 1 or 2 days. So anyway. But yeah, I'm still reading The Winds of War by Herman Wouk. Herman Wouk. W-O-U-K. It's a big book, and there's a sequel. And then my brain wants to read The Fall of Giants series by Ken Follett, which is a huge other series, but it's kind of like the same genre in a way. Yeah. Fictional history. It's totally fictional, but and Fall of Giant series, the first book is like it follows many families. Somehow they're all intertwined, and it goes through World War I. Then the second one, which is Winter Fall of Giants, Winter Fall, no, something about winter. Oh my god. Anyway, that follows World War II. So it's like the children of the first book, their story. And then the last one, which is Edge of Eternity, kind of goes through like the 50s and stuff, and mostly the 50s, like, I think a little bit of the Cold War. Mostly it deals with the racism, the oh my god, the Equal Rights Act and all that stuff. It kind of go, JFK and stuff. So you kind of, and they're long, books, and so it goes through a long period of time frame. But the last one's okay. I really like the war ones, which is why I like War and Remembrance and The Winds of War. That's all just World War II. So Edge of Eternity is just okay. Because there's not really an actual war, but they have their own they definitely have their own conflicts and blah blah blah. And now it's like the children's children. But anyway, read those books. I think I've read them twice and listened to the audiobooks a couple times, and have definitely enjoyed them. There's so many characters that when I first was reading them, I had to keep like notes. And actually, in the book, at least in the hardcover book, there was like a family tree. Well, a listing of like this family, and then these are the people, and then this family, these are the people. But I had to like put little tab sticky notes next to them for notes of who these people were, like what kind of jobs they did, or how, whatever was going on, so I could keep track. And now I've read them enough times and stuff, I pretty much know all the main characters. So anyway, so if you're looking for books to read that you like, kind of like a historical, but definitely fictional historical, none of the characters are real, And none of the stuff that actually, happened is, real. Except, yes, World War One and World War Two did happen. But anyway, those are a good series. But not really listening to any audiobooks. I tried to start listening to Sarah, what's her last name? She wrote the Throne of Glass series, which I absolutely loved. Listened to that twice. She's got another series called Roses and Thorns and Thrones or something like that. I'm not enjoying it. I don't know why. I don't know. It's a different reader. I'm not really enjoying the narrator maybe. But I'm finding that the book is boring. Nothing is happening. I don't know. I feel like I just need to get past a certain point. Maybe stuff will start happening. It starts off okay. This girl is hunting and she kills this wolf, but this wolf is actually like a fairy, like a fae. Well, the fae in her other series. Anyway, and so then people from that realm come and get her as punishment, and they take her to their realm. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then, like, nothing happens. She's like living with them, and I mean, it's a lot of dialogue of them just yakking. And there's a couple different people that she's with, and I think I'm getting the people confused of who's who. Like the main character that took her, but then there's also this other character. But then they're all guys, and it's just, I don't know. It's just not much is happening. Little things are happening, but just kind of, I don't know. And maybe I'm not in the mood to listen to an audiobook. But I really want to, since my commute to school is so long that there'd be a good time to listen to an audiobook. But I don't know. I'm not enjoying it. Not saying it's bad. I don't know. Sometimes you're just not in the mood. Sometimes things just don't hit you quite right at a certain time. I think that's it. I think I'm going to leave you at that. I don't know. I don't think anything else has really happened. Just school and work and knitting, a little bit of reading, and obsessing over the scale. I'm pretty pathetic. I weigh myself like 5 times a day. Or more. Which I know I shouldn't. I should only weigh myself once a week, but I'm embarrassed. I'm all red now. Anyway, so I think I'm just going to let you guys go. I am going to go have some lunch. Hopefully not gaining any weight. And then go for a walk and then some yoga. And then just settle in for the night and just get a lot more knitting. Hopefully some reading done. I meant to get some reading done yesterday. I never did. It's just so much easier just to watch TV. Oh, I'm watching Downton Abbey again. We had a cold spell, and this is what I want to do when I'm sitting at home when it's cold outside, because it's set in England. England's cold and dreary most of the time. Not all the time. Not that I've ever been there, but anyway. Okay. Bye, you guys.